What up, everybody? It's Hank from Bikes, Bumps, and Banter. How you doing? I was starting to do some work on the Sport Glide, and without thinking about it, I took my coffee cup and I just put it on the nearest flat surface I could find. And then I happened to look down and realize I put it on this big, ugly license plate bracket light. That's a sore spot with everybody, that this license plate bracket is huge. I did buy another license plate bracket. The only problem I got is this license plate I've had for 38 years. This is the fourth bike it's been on. No, fifth. So it was on my Suzuki GS 1150 way back in the day, and this is the fourth Harley it's been on. So I'm gonna have to break down. I'm gonna run out to the store. I'm gonna get another license plate, which is much smaller than this one. And I actually do have a curved license plate bracket that I bought off of Amazon, which I'm going to switch today. So the work that I was doing on the Sport Glide can wait. I haven't really started yet. But for you guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this. So I just got back from our government-run insurance house to get new plates, a new plate anyway. They did charge me to get another plate small, even though we were supposed to turn these in long ago, but I just refused to get on the bandwagon. As you can see, the new plate is way smaller than the old plate. I mean, if I put them up corner to corner, there's a huge difference. I'm just gonna pop off this plate right away, and then we're gonna look at how this comes off. Literally, it's a T27 and 2 screws. It shouldn't be that hard to do. The hardest part is to make sure that the wiring comes through. So I'm gonna pull that off first, and then I'm gonna open up the Amazon box and see what I got. One flat tip screwdriver, take off that plate. So I thought about it after I pulled my big plate off, that if you guys had a normal size plate, not that great big one that I had, that you probably would have actually had 4 screws holding it in place. That big plate's been on there since day one. I have no idea if there was 2 other screws or where they would be, but I'm not worried about it because once this comes off, we're not going to need those screws at all. First thing I'm going to do is not apologize, because my bike is dirty. You're seeing a lot of the stuff I do, my bike is dirty, and I've always said I'm a rider, not a polisher. Why spend half hour washing your bike when that's a half hour I could have been riding? Like even today for lunch, I rode 50 kilometers to get a donut. I mean, that's why it's dirty now. So the next step is we're going to take this plate off of here, and this is literally, it just pops right off, and that's going to expose the 2 T27s underneath. And again, like it's dirty, and this just proves that I'm just some dude in his garage doing shit that, oh no, you can't say shit, sorry. Just some dude in his garage doing stuff that you can do. So next up, my T27, I'm going to take those 2 bolts out, and then we'll just take this off. I've loosened off the 2 T27s, and this is just going to pull straight out, and you're going to have your wiring in the back here. I'm going to see if I can get the connector pull all the way through. Once I get this off, I am going to clean this area up before I put the new one on, because as you can see, that's freaking mangy. You got to be careful when you're trying to feed the wire through, and make sure you get the connector all the way through. It's got a very short wire to it. The actual housing, the only thing that holds the rest of the housing to the fender from the inside is those two T27s. Now that I've got it out, I'm just going to unplug this. I'm going to really clean this up good before I open up the Amazon box and show you what my Amazon curved plate holder looks like. So I got the old plate off, the old plate holder off. One thing I noticed, now that it's off, is there's a mark across here and up here from where the old gasket was. In the fall, I normally take my bikes for a fall cleaning and paint correction and have them recoated. I'll have to make sure that when I bring it in, that I ask the guys at Resurrection Auto Detailing to see if they can actually correct this. I'm pretty sure that the plate holder that I got isn't going to cover, definitely won't cover that, and I don't think it's going to cover the top part. We'll see when I get it out of the box. This thing looks surprisingly a lot like a 03D holder. I'm going to go online later and take a closer look at the 03D one. and see, but I'm pretty sure this is a Chinese knockoff of the Zero 3D. Sorry, Zero. In typical Chinese fashion, there be no instructions in the box, but it's pretty much straightforward. There's a small Allen key. There's a small Allen key screw right there. That was hard to say. That'll take this top off, and then it'll just bolt back into 2 bolt holes, and we'll plug it back in. Make sure that the rubber goes in. I'm going to make sure that the back of this plate's cleaned off because I dropped it on the floor. And like my bike doesn't get washed, my floor don't get swept either, unless somebody wants to come do it for me. I'm all about letting somebody else do stuff. I am going to take this off first to separate the 2 pieces. That way the plate will be able to go on. Ooh, careful, there's a small washer. Don't lose your little washer. That just pops up and off. Make sure my plug is in. Now that I actually plugged it in, there's a lot of wire on this thing. So I'm going to hold the little piece in the back, and I'm going to try to feed all this wire in before I put it in place. I'm hoping it all fits in that little housing. This might be a 3-handed job. I'm not quite sure yet. Wow, that goes in there. Like, there we go. Now they're lined up. So I'm going to try to hold that in place. I can probably let that go and then grab my 2 T27s and put those back in, and then we'll go from there. Before I tighten it down, I checked my distance left to right to make sure I'm fairly even, and I checked my level. It almost feels like it's too far this way by a hair, but that's probably just my OCD kicking in where I want everything to be almost perfect. I may just accept the fact that it is just a little bit tighter, but you know, there's not much I can do. I use my other phone to make sure that it's level. I'm going to crank it down tight, and then we're going to turn it on and see if make sure that the light works before I go any further. As you see, I got power on the bike. The LED does work, so I'm happy so far. Next up is taking my new plate and making sure I can fit this shape. I'm going to just loosely put it in, and I'm going to slowly just kind of give it a little bit of pushing to try to get it to bend some shape. I don't want to go too hard because I'm not sure how good this plastic is that's in here. I'm just slowly working it with my thumbs just to try to keep getting it a nice bend all the way through. See if I can match this curve without putting any noticeable crease in it. And so far it seems to be working pretty good. I'm going to try now to see if I can get it hooked in and on. Got to make sure I remember how this goes on. Oops, that's upside down. That'd be funny. Put it on upside down. Be getting pulled over every day. Can't figure out why. I got to make sure, or when you do this, to make sure you get your plate pushed up and under behind the light. The top of this on the top is actually going to click in back here to the pieces. And this piece here has to go under the plate so you can screw it back in. The first time I tried, I didn't have the plate down far enough, and I was trying to figure out why that wasn't pushing in, and it's because I just didn't force that up high enough. And now I should be able to just click that right over the top and push it down nice and flat, and we should be good once I put the screw in. So let me tell you, my brothers and sisters, that little screw is one of the fiddliest little bastards I ever tried to put on. I don't know whether it's because I didn't have the plate curved enough and I couldn't push those 2 corners down enough to actually make them click into place. I had to put a lot of pressure until I heard a click on both sides. And then I actually had to lean right into this in order to get the screw up inside. For my own peace of mind, I put blue Loctite on the screw because that's the only screw that holds your plate in place. If I'm beetling down the highway and I'm hitting potholes and that screw falls out, I'm losing my plate, and I don't want to lose my plate. You know, it's another reason for someone to pull me over. I have no plate, right? So that's the install of, and it is definitely a Zero 3D Chinese knockoff or an Amazon knockoff. I'll leave the link below to Amazon.ca where I bought it. I'll actually find what the brand name was called, and if there's an Amazon.com of the same one, I'll share that link too. If you want to buy knockoffs, buy knockoffs. If you want to buy the original Zero 3D one, then I would say buy the Zero 3D one if that's the way you want to go. In today's economy where money's tight, I prefer to save every penny I can. I got a few other installs I've got planned for this bike that are not going to be cheap. We'll see how that goes later on in the future. But anyway, there you go. There is my curved license plate. Looks way better than that coffee cup holder or that Pope's nose or whatever you guys want to call what was on there originally. I think it adds just a little bit more class to the bike. I like it. I hope you guys like it. As usual, if you like the content, please hit the like button. If you want to see more great content, please hit the subscribe button. And if you know anybody who could benefit from this video, please hit the share button. And as I always say, keep that rubber side down, keep your shiny side up, and stay frosty, my friends. And I'll catch you guys later.